In years 4 and 5, children do multiplication by using what they call the grid method. For example, with the question 23 times 7, we would first partition the 23 into 2 tens and the 3 units. So this would partition into 2 tens, which are 20, and 3 units, which are 3. The 2 tens, 20, we can just put above that this is the same as 2 tens to help carry out the calculation. We then multiply in our question all by 7, so we put multiply in the corner and times everything by 7. We start off then with 27s and first use the fact that we know that 2 7s are 14, which we write down as our answer, but now multiplying this by 10, so that because 2 7s are 14, 27s are 140. We then work out 7 times 3, 7 3s are 21. And then these two answers we add back together in our total column. So we'd now write 140, add back the 21, keeping the columns in line. And we would start with the least significant digits, so 0 plus 1 is 1. 4 tens are 40 plus 2 tens 20 are 60 that we write as 6 tens, and then 100 plus no 100 is 100. So that our answer 23 times by 7 is equal to 161. With the question 346 times by 9, we start off by partitioning the 346. This is partitioned into 3 hundreds, which are 300, 4 tens, which are 40, and 6 units, which are 6. We keep a tally of this by saying that 3 hundreds are the same as 3 lots of 100, because it is a 3 in the hundreds. The 40 is a 4 in the tens, which is the same as 4 tens. And the 6 is 6 units, which we'll leave as it is. We're multiplying everything by 9, so we put multiply by 9. And then we start off by working out what 9 times 300 is. It's easier to think of 9 times 3 first of all, which are 27. But we're now working for 9 times 300, so we've got to make it 100 times bigger. So the 27, which is 100 times bigger, becomes 2,700. We then work on 9 times 40, knowing that 9 times 4 is 36, which we write down straight away. And then we should now know that 9 times 40 is 10 times bigger, so the 36 is 10 times bigger, which equals 360. And now we do 9 times 6. 9 sixes are 54, because children should know that 10 sixes are 60, and this is 1 6 less. We now add back the separate partitions, so we have 2,700. Then add on 360, which we need to keep in the correct columns. So the 3 in the hundreds goes underneath the 7 in the hundreds. The 6 in the tens goes in the tens column. And the 0 in the units goes in the units column. And we add on 54, put in our addition sign, making sure the 5 tens goes under the 6 tens. And the 4 units stays in the units. We now add up the least significant digits first, so that 0 plus 0 plus 4 is 4. And 6 tens plus 5 tens, 60 plus 50 is 110. So we carry the 100 to the bottom left of the hundreds column and write the 10 as 110. We now add the 700 plus the 300, which is 1,000, plus the carried 100, which is 1,100. So we carry the 1,000 to the bottom left of the thousands column and write the 1 for the 100. We now add the 2,000 to the 1,000 carried, which is the 3,000 in total, which we write as a 3 in the thousands column. So the 346 multiplied by 9 is 3,114. With the question 2,364 times by 5, we start off by partitioning the 2,364. We write this as 2 in the thousands, which is 2,000, 3 in the hundreds, which is 300, 6 in the tens, which is 60, and then a 4 in the units, which are 4. We're multiplying this all by 5, so we put our multiply at the side and by 5. And then to help with the calculation, we write this 2,000 as a 2, which are in the thousands, so that's 2 times 1,000. The 3 in the hundreds, we write as 3 times 100. The 6 in the tens, we write as 6 tens. And then the 4 in the units, we leave as 4. We then look at 5 times 2, and straight away write down that 5 2s are 10. But because we're actually doing 5 times 2,000, we know that this is 1,000 times bigger. So with a 10, we need to make 1,000 times bigger, which becomes 10,000. We now look at 5 times 3, write the answer down as 15. But we're actually doing 5 times 300, so this is 100 times bigger than the 3. So the 15 becomes 100 times bigger, which is 1,500. We now look at the 5 times the 6, and 5 6s are 30. But we're actually trying to find 5 times 60, and this is 10 times bigger than 6. So the 30 becomes 10 times bigger, which is 300. We now look at 5 times 4, and they're 20. We now need to add back these separate partitions. So we write the 10,000 over at the side. We're then adding on 1,500, making sure the 1,000 is in the thousands column. Then add on the 300, making sure the 3 in the hundreds goes underneath the 5 in the hundreds. And we finally add on the 20, making sure we put our addition. We then start by adding up the least significant digits. So we add the zeros in the units, which stay as 0. We add the tens, we've only got 2 in the tens, which stays as a 2 in the tens for the 20. We add the hundreds, 500 plus 300 is 800, which we write as an 8 in the hundreds. And then we add the thousands, we've got no 1,000 plus 1,000, 1,000. And then we've also got our tens of thousands added to no other tens of thousands. So we write that as a 1 in the tens of thousands column. Therefore, 2,364 times by 5 is 11,820. With the question 3.9 times by 4, we first partition the 3.9 into the 3 units, which are 3, and the 9 tenths, which we write as 0.9. Because this is a 9 in the tenths, this is actually the same as 9 divided by 10. This helps with the calculation, so we write it in brackets above to help. We're now multiplying the 3.9 by 4, so we've got our multiply at the side, and we're multiplying it all by 4. We start first of all with the 4 times the 3, which we write down as 12, and then we'll look at the 4 times the 9, which we write as 36. However, we're not doing 4 times 9, we're looking at 4 times 0.9. This is actually 10 times smaller than 9, so we've got to divide by 10. Therefore, the 36, we divide it by 10 and end up with 3.6. We now add back the separate partitions. So we've got the 12 and we add on the 3.6, making sure the 3 stays in the units column. Because we've not got a decimal at the moment here, to help with the calculation, we put our decimal after the 12 and put a 0 in the tens column. We bring down the 0 to help do the addition, and then start off with the least significant digit, looking at 0 tenths plus 6 tenths, which are 6 tenths. Now add up the units, and we've got 2 plus 3 is 5. And then the 10 plus 0 is a 10, which we write as a 1 in the tens column. Therefore, 3.9 times by 4 is equal to 15.6.